Hello students, welcome to the first part. That is, today we are going to start with a new chapter, that is the circulatory system. So this is a very important chapter from the human anatomy point of view. Most of the questions are going to come from this part. So today I'm going to start with the circulatory system. First, what we mean by the circulatory system. See, what does circulatory system means? Circulatory system means the moving of the fluid inside the body. Circulating means moving of the fluid inside the body. As we drink up the water, so we drink from our mouth, but the excess amount of the water get flushed out from the form of urine. So that urine is the water. So definitely that water is going to travel inside your body. So same like that we have a blood. Okay, and the function of this blood is to transport to each and every transported to each and every part of the body organ. Okay, the function of this blood is to get transported to each and every part of the blood. But as this is a fluid, who is going to help these fluids? The helping of the fluid will be done by the RBCs. Okay, now as of now we are just going to look what are the different types of the fluids. See, blood, so we are quite familiar that the blood is red in color, but tissue fluid and lymph, even this word you have heard, lymph, they are white in color. Now as the blood is red in color and the function of the blood is to get transported to each and every part of the body, the same like that there is another set of channel that is called the lymph, which runs adjacent to the blood vessels. Suppose I am drawing something. Suppose these are the blood vessels, okay, which are present inside the humans like a branch. Okay, so adjacent to this, what does that mean? So there would be another set of channels which will run parallel to them, like this. So they are nothing but the lymph. Now let's understand by looking them in the diagram. Okay, so blood, where is blood? Blood is contained in the heart and the blood vessels. It is present in the heart and blood vessels. Okay, blood vessels. What is the function of these blood vessels? Okay, name the blood vessels first. They are the arteries, veins and capillaries. These are the three blood vessels through which we are going to carry the blood. Like suppose this is a tube which is known as the blood vessel. As the name is blood vessel, what is it is going to carry? It is going to carry the blood. Okay, now this is the diagram through which we can understand more perfectly. See, in the top we are going to see the lungs. We are going to discuss each and every part, but right now no, we are just going to discuss some of the basic part which we should know. This is the lung. Okay, this is the, and now I'm going to discuss see, these are the three blood vessels. They are the arteries, blood capillaries and veins. Arteries, blood capillaries and veins. So blood capillary is nothing but the interjunction between the veins and the arteries. Okay, it is in between. So we can see there is some fluid which is getting out of this blood capillary, like this part. What is this? This is the empty space. Okay, this is the empty space between this blood capillary and lymph capillary, which is known as the tissue fluid. So what happens? See, why this artery is red in color? Because the red color indicates that this is oxygenated part. Why this vein is blue in color? Because this indicate this is deoxygenated blood. What does deoxygenated blood means? Deoxygenated blood means the blood which is full of carbon dioxide. Okay, so that is why it has been given a blue color, but inside the human body there is nothing such color. The veins are usually dark red, but it is just a color symbol which helps us to create up the difference between the two part. Okay, arteries will be red in colors, veins will be blue in color. Arteries will be full of oxygen, veins will be full of carbon dioxide. And what is the tissue fluid? Tissue fluid is the space between this capillary and the lymph capillary. This lymph capillary and this blood capillary. So what exactly happens out here? See. So when see, this is the left side of the heart, this part from which the blood is going to go, right? And this is the arteries, and this is going to enter into a new set of channel that is called the capillaries. As the blood moves inside these capillaries, this part, okay, the blood flows into the capillaries of the tissues, and thus there is a leakage. Okay, there is a leakage of two part. There is a leak of cells and plasma. What it leaks out? Leaks out plasma and leukocytes. Plasma and leukocytes. What is plasma? Plasma is nothing but the liquid part of the blood. Liquid part of the blood is called the plasma. Whenever we get a cut, the liquid part that oozes out is nothing but the plasma only. And what are leukocytes? Leukocytes are the types of WBCs, because the word CYTES is known as the cells. So this plasma and the leukocytes leaks out of this capillary. Suppose this is a WBC which has been, means the leukocyte only, which has been expelled out from this blood capillaries, and at the same period of a time the fluid also get out of this blood capillary like this. It is going to fall on this part. So this fluid bathes the cell. This cell is bathed with the fluid, so this is why it is called as the tissue fluid. Okay, so tissue fluid means nothing, it is the space between the two capillaries. Okay, it is the space between the two capillaries, and this fluid, this cell, means I mean to say the WBCs, what does it absorbs? It absorbs oxygen. It absorbs oxygens and other required substance like glucose, okay, amino acids. This all things it is going to absorb, and in return it is going to give out the waste. So it is going to absorb all the essential things and going to expel out all the unwanted thing like carbon dioxide, which is harmful, okay, and the excrete part, which is waste, it is again going to come back. Okay, around 90% of the leukocytes enters into a new set of channel that is called the lymph. Okay, and this, like we have the blood capillaries, we have the lymph capillaries as well. The lymph, like we have arteries and veins, same like that we have lymph. We have blood capillaries, we have lymph capillaries. So they are, as I said, that the blood vessels and the lymph vessels run adjacent to each other. This is just in diagrammatical representation from where you can understand. So this WBCs, now what is going to happen? As this WBC is going to absorb all the proper amount of nutrition and all, so definitely it is going to give out the waste. The waste which has been given out again goes back into this blood capillary, and through veins it moves toward the heart. Okay, this, as I said, this vein is blue in color because it contains completely of carbon dioxide. So as we can see out here, this tissue fluid enters to a new channel of lymph. Okay, when it enters into a new channel. At that period of a time, there is a formation. Okay, the lymph vessels. What is the function of this lymph? Okay, this lymph is a fluid which helps for the defense mechanism. Okay, whenever we get any kind of bacteria inside our body, so this lymph gives the immediate protection. So basically it is the nutritive fluid. Lymph is a nutritive fluid. It works in the defense systems of the body. Okay, and we are going to discuss this lymph in detail in the further part. As of now, we just understand three types of a fluid. This is the blood. This whole part is the blood. This is the tissue fluid, and this is the lymph capillaries inside which the lymph is going to flow. Now, properties of blood. So one by one we are going to discuss each and everything. The first, blood. So first, usually blood is never stationary in nature. What is never stationary? Never stationary means what? Okay, it is not going to stop. Okay, it is going to move only. It will be always in motion. While sleeping, while running, while doing any of the physical activity, while eating of the food, the blood is going to run throughout the body. Okay, color is usually, it is red in color. Volume, see, inside the human we have around 5 to 6 liters of blood. 5 to 6 liters of blood, and inside the female it is around 4.5 to 5 liters. Inside the women, because they do less physical activity, so the intake of the blood is very less, and inside the men it is around 5 to 6 liter of the blood. What is the taste of the blood? It is saltish. So in case of the bleeding from the mouth, or in case of bleeding from the hands, you immediately put up your hand inside the mouth and suck up that blood. So it tastes saltish. Okay, it is alkaline in nature. What does alkaline nature means? Whose pH level is, see, we have a pH scale, right? Around 14. From 1 it starts, and in the ending it's like 14, and there is a neutral, that is 7. So above 7 the alkaline part start. This is the alkaline part, ALK, and from 1 to 7 it is nothing but the acid part, and 7 is a neutral. So around the pH level is 7.3 to 7.4. So after 7 means what? It is alkaline, means it is basic in nature. Now the function of the blood, it gives you two important functions, that is the transport function and the protection function. So as we have already discussed many a time, okay, what is the function of the blood? The function of the blood is to transport blood to each and every part of the body. So definitely it is going to work for the transport part, and at the same period of a time this blood is going to provide you the protection as well. Okay, they are going to provide you the protection also. So how the blood is going to get transport? See, transport of oxygen. Transport of oxygen. From where we get the oxygenated blood? We get oxygenated part from the lungs. Okay, so see, what is the function of the RBCs? The function of the RBCs is to transport blood, it's to transport oxygenated blood to each and every part of the body. So oxygenated blood means what? See, there is a the RBCs, which are the cells which is going to carry oxygen and when that RBCs will get the oxygen, it will be transported to each and every part of the body. And the same RBCs can carry carbon dioxide also. Now a question arises, how? See, whenever they take in oxygen at that period of a time, it has to deliver to the other part of the body. But carbon dioxide also it can take. Okay, how? See, if any of the body part, where there is a deficient amount of oxygen, so deficient amount of oxygen means the level of carbon dioxide increases in that organ. So this RBCs take and they transport to the heart, and from heart to lungs it goes and get transported to each and every part of the body. This blood also helps us to maintain up the distribution of heat. Okay, it helps in maintaining of the body temperature. This also helps in the transportation of the hormones. We have already studied about the endocrine glands. So the endocrine glands directly secrete up their secretion into the blood. Now next, it helps in the work of the protection. So how does it helps in the work of a protection? See, whenever we get cut, so at that period of a time, blood oozes out of the body. When the blood oozes out of the body, after few minutes you notice that the blood is going to stop automatically. What does that means? That means blood clot. Okay. So eventually the clot has been formed in the body. Okay, and this clot helps us in two ways. There is, it stops from further loss of blood. Okay, when there is a proper amount of a clot inside the body, so it helps in the further loss of the body and entry of disease causing germs. See, whenever we get a cut now, so that surface area is open, so at that period of a time many of the germs can get enter, so it becomes very dangerous for the humans, because if any of the bacteria getting enter, so it can cause us ill. Okay, the person can feel ill. So the person should not feel ill, he should be in a healthy manner. This cloth helps in preventing it helps our body to prevent the bacteria from coming inside the body. And if suppose by chance if the bacteria enters into our body, so there are WBCs which are present inside the body. Okay, WBCs are called as the army or the soldiers. How the armies and the soldiers protect our borders? So same like that, whenever any entry of bacteria or viruses whenever any bacteria or viruses enters at that period of a time, it's WBCs which fight against such bacteria or viruses. Now composition of blood. So basically blood is composed of two parts. Okay, blood is made up of, composition means made up of. Okay, it is made up of a two parts, that is plasma and cellular elements. What is the function of this plasma? What is plasma first? Plasma, as I said, the fluid part, the liquid part of the blood. And cellular part. What does cellular part means? It consists of different types of cells. What are the cells which are present? RBCs, WBCs and platelets. RBCs, WBCs, platelets. And what is the plasma? It is nothing but the fluid part. Almost, see, suppose 100%. Out of 100%, around 55 to 60% our blood is composed of plasma, means the fluid part, and around 40 to 45% it is composed of cells. Which cells? 3 cells: RBCs, WBCs and platelets. Now we are going to discuss about this plasma in detail first. See, plasma What is the color of plasma? It is a light yellow color fluid. Now one would be notice, sir, blood is red in color, so how does the plasma is red in color? Now the answer to this part you will be getting now. This is light yellow, means yellowish color kind of fluid. It consists of 90% of the water, 90 to 92% of the water. Since it's and since the water is colorless, the plasma is also kind of a yellowish color. Why it is yellowish in color? Because it has the presence of these proteins. The proteins which are present inside this plasma give them the yellow color texture. Okay, it consists of the salts like sodium chloride and sodium bicarbonate. As I said, your blood tastes saltish because there is a presence of sodium chloride and sodium bicarbonate. And they also consist of useful material, that is glucose, amino acids, okay, hormones, and waste also, that is the urea. Now we are going to discuss cellular elements. As I said, 3 types of cells we are going to see, that is RBCs, WBCs, platelets. Blood platelets or platelets is one and the same. RBCs, WBCs and blood platelets. These are the 3 essential these are the 3 essential cells in our body. These 3 cells, without these 3 cells, a human body can't function properly. So these 3 cells is very important. Okay, let's understand. These are the different structure we are going to see, and then we are going to study them one by one. The above part is the RBCs, there are WBCs, and there are the platelets. Now first type of cell, that is the RBCs. RBC means red blood cells. Okay, they are called as the oxygen carriers. Why they are called as the oxygen carriers? See, why they are called as the oxygen carrier? Because they carries oxygen to each and every part of the body. They transport. Okay, the RBCs have another name also, that is called the erythrocytes. Erythrocytes. The word, why erythrocyte? Because the word erythro means red, and word CYTES means cells, red cells. The structure, okay, the structure of RBC is biconcave in nature. Biconcave means like this, like concave, curve on both the sides. This is the structure of the RBCs. Okay, and they are very small in nature. These RBCs are very small in nature. Okay, they can be seen only through the electron microscope. So they are very small in nature. Now we are going to discuss about the hemoglobin part. Hemoglobin part. What is hemoglobin? Hemoglobin is nothing but the effective chemical composition of RBCs. Okay, see, as I said, RBCs are red in color. The blood is red in color. So why your blood is red in color? Because of this presence of this chemical. Okay, this chemical which is present inside this is the RBC. This is the RBC. This is the RBC. It has some of the chemicals inside this RBC, which is known as the hemoglobin. Okay, this hemoglobin gives the red color to this RBCs. This hemoglobin is nothing but the chemical constituents of RBC, which helps to give our blood color red. It helps to give us the red color in the blood. The word hemoglobin, see, here only I am going to mark the word hem means iron, and the word globin means a protein. The word hem means iron, no? So this, because of this iron, because of this hem only we get red color, because of this iron. So it's basically a correlation question. Correlation means what? They will give you iron, they will give you dash like this. So at that period of a time we have to write red color, okay? This, because of this iron, hemoglobin, iron, na, right? So this iron, where it is present inside this hemoglobin, and which helps us to give us the red color. Now there are three different parts: oxyhemoglobin, carbamino hemoglobin, and carboxyhemoglobin. So first I am going to discuss about the oxyhemoglobin. What do you mean by oxyhemoglobin? See, hemoglobin element stands with Hb, okay, symbolic form Hb. When it comes in contact with oxygen, okay, whenever it has to transport the blood to each and every part of the body, it is called as the oxyhemoglobin. Now second, it is carbamino hemoglobin. What does carbamino hemoglobin means? See, when the hemoglobin is present, so whenever any of the tissues gives out carbon dioxide, so this carbon dioxide is picked up by this hemoglobin, so this becomes Hb.CO2. So this Hb.CO2 is nothing but the carbamino hemoglobin, okay? And now the third condition. In the third condition, this is carboxyhemoglobin. This is very important. This can be asked for the give reason part. See, carboxyhemoglobin means what? When hemoglobins combine with carbon monoxide, okay, not carbon dioxide, so it forms up a compound called carboxyhemoglobin. And what is the function of this carboxyhemoglobin? See, if too much of carboxyhemoglobin gets accumulate inside the human body, a person can die. So this is a very serious condition. So that is why it is advisable to not sleep near burning furnaces, or not to sleep in a small room without the ventilation, okay? So these are the some fact. So one should not sleep in a room which is not properly ventilated, means which is closed from all the four sides. You should not sleep, because in that rooms there is a high amount of the carbon monoxide, and person can die, because it is also called as the silent killer. And it get easily formed. This carboxyhemoglobin get easily formed. Why? Because this hemoglobin has a strong affinity for carbon monoxide. What does affinity means? Affinity means love toward, loves. Now life and death of RBCs. Where does RBCs have been formed? It has been formed in the marrow of the long bones. Long bone means what? It has been formed in the femur and the humerus, okay? In the skeleton system we have studied in the humerus and the femur, in the long bones. The mature RBCs have no nucleus, okay? The average lifespan is around 120 days. When they become old and weak, this RBC destroyed in the spleen, liver and bone marrow. So this spleen, liver and bone marrow means nothing but the graveyard, okay? It is nothing but the graveyard of the cells. What does that mean? Graveyard of the cells means where we bury the dead person. So when the RBC get dead, it goes into the split. And there are the two different conditions we are going to study. That is the polycythemia and erythropenia. What does this polycythemia means? See, polycythemia, it's a condition in which there is an increased amount of RBC. If suppose inside the person, if RBC count get increased, so a condition called polycythemia get developed. Because see, each and every part of your body should be in a proper way. Like there should not be a deficit of water, there should be no deficit of the hormones. If any of the imbalance occurs inside the body, there could be a problem. So polycythemia is a condition in which there is an increased amount of RBC. Erythropenia means what? Decrease amount of RBCs. When the RBC amount get decreased inside the body, so it becomes very difficult for the person to breathe in, to take in the oxygen, and the person often feels sleepy. So this condition is called erythropenia. You have heard about the condition called anemia. Anemia is a condition where the number of RBCs are less. Okay, where the RBCs are very less in number. So this is nothing but the erythropenia also. Now this is a give reason question. Why RBCs are considered to be efficient? Because see, they lack all the three nucleus. That is nucleus. They lack all the three organelles. That is nucleus, mitochondria, and endoplasmic reticulum. See, if there is no nucleus, the shape would be biconcave like this. See, this is a nucleus inside the cell. If the nucleus is not present, so it can increase up its surface area, so more the oxygen it can take. Okay, the first reason. No nucleus means more amount of the surface area. Then there is a loss of mitochondria. See, mitochondria is known as the powerhouse of the cell, which helps in the cellular respiration part. If see, loss of mitochondria. If mitochondria is not there, so definitely it won't need any oxygen. It can work in an anaerobic function. Okay, and it can transport up the blood to each and every part of the body, because it is not going to use up the oxygen for itself. It is going to use the it is going to carry the oxygen to the different parts of the body. It is going to transport. No endoplasmic reticulum. See, what is the function of the endoplasmic reticulum? Endoplasmic reticulum used to provide the supportive framework. Okay, see, if there is no supportive framework, so it will be quite flexible, and as it is flexible, it becomes very easy for the movement of these RBCs. Now WBCs. WBCs are also called as the leukocytes. Why leukocytes? See, as we have the word erythrocytes for RBCs, we have the word leukocytes for WBCs. Leukocytes means, leuko means white, and the cyte means the cell. It causes a condition called the diaphydesis. You have already studied up in 9th standard. See, I am going to give you a condition. This is condition A, B, C, D. In condition A, we can see out here, this white color structure is present inside this blood capillaries. Slowly and gradually, this WBC is trying to oozing out of this capillary. Most of the part of the WBCs got out, and when there is a complete movement of this WBCs out of this blood capillary, this is called the diaphydesis. The diaphydesis means nothing but the leaking out of the WBCs from the blood capillaries. And WBCs are known as the defense system. Okay, they are known as the soldiers or the army of the body. Why? Because they provide you with the defense mechanisms. Origin and lives of the WBCs. See, WBCs are produced in the red bone marrow, lymph nodes, and sometimes in the livers and spleen. Okay, its average life is around 2 weeks, and the average life of RBCs is around 120 days, which is around 4 months. See, as we were having a condition called polycythemia and erythropenia, we have a condition called leukemia and leukopenia. Leukemia, when RBC numbers get increased, when the WBC numbers get increased, it causes a condition called leukemia. But when this WBC numbers fall, it causes a condition called leukopenia. Okay, the above one, this leukemia is a very fatal disease. Okay, it can cause a death also. So what we should do? What is the best way to get rid out of this leukemia condition? The treatment is only blood transfusion. What does that mean? Blood transfusion means taking off of the blood and transferring it. Okay. These are the different functions of the leukocyte. Phagocytosis. Phagocytosis means, in easy language you understand, killing of the bacteria. Engulfing of bacteria. Suppose I give an example. Suppose this is a bacteria which is entering into your body, and this is an WBC. And WBCs are the soldiers, as I said. So what this WBC is going to do? This WBC is going to engulf this bacteria, and it is going to release some of the chemicals, and it is going to kill. So this condition is called the phagocytosis. The word phagocytosis means killing of the bacteria in an easier language. It causes a condition called inflammation. Inflammation means what? See, whenever any of the reaction occurs inside the tissue, okay, any of the injury occurs, at that period of a time, it is characterized by local heat, means that part is heated. Okay, the redness we can see out there, and there is a pain. Okay, swelling pain means the part gets swelled. So these are some of the condition. Inflammation. So inflammation, see, whenever we get any of the pus or something like that, so what is that pus condition? Pus condition is a condition in which when any of the bacteria enters into our body, at that period of a time, WBCs fight against those bacteria. At that period of a time, our WBCs get die. So it causes a condition called pus. So what is pus? Dead white cells. Dead WBCs. Okay. And formation of antibodies. What does that mean? See, we always take up in the childhood, we have took the polio vaccine. What is the function of this polio vaccine? Polio vaccine helps our body to cure from the thinness of the limbs, like your hands and legs. So what is the function of this vaccine? The function of this vaccine is it produces antibodies. Okay, what is antibodies? It is nothing but the WBCs only. Okay, what is the function of these antibodies? This function of these antibodies is to fight against those bacteria, but they will be very specific. Suppose you take a vaccine of polio, so it will fight against polio only. Then it won't fight against tuberculosis, it won't fight against any other part. Okay, if you take a vaccine for tuberculosis, so it will be very specific. It is going to function for the tuberculosis only. It is not going to function for any of the other parts, other diseases. So basically this So I'm stopping out here. So this was the part 1 of the circulatory system. Thank you, students.